The Galactic Council's most advanced monitoring station sits at the edge of the Void Zone, a region of space declared forbidden after the Great War 3,000 years ago. Commander Vex of the Altarian fleet watches the sensors with tired eyes. Nothing ever comes from the Void Zone. Nothing ever could. The ancient weapons used in the Great War had torn space itself. Ships that entered never returned. Energy readings went mad. Even the most advanced alien technologies failed within its borders. The Council had marked it as a dead zone, a scar on the galaxy that would never heal. But today, something impossible happens. A ship emerges from the Void Zone's heart. The monitoring station erupts in chaos. Alarms scream. Officers rush between consoles. Commander Vex stares at the readings, his 3 eyes wide with disbelief. The ship is small compared to Council vessels, but it moves with purpose. Its hull gleams silver white, and strange markings cover its surface. "Sir, the energy readings make no sense," reports Officer Kell, his voice shaking. The ship should have been torn apart the moment it entered the Void Zone. Our best shields last maybe 10 minutes in there. Vex studies the data streams. The ship has been inside the Void Zone for weeks, maybe months. Its path shows it traveled deep into the most dangerous regions, places where reality itself breaks down. Yet it flies as if nothing happened. What species built this? Vex whispers. The ship's design follows no known patterns. Council vessels are either massive fortress ships or sleek fighters built for speed. This ship looks different, functional, but elegant, with curves that seem almost organic. Its engines produce energy signatures that don't match any database entries. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission," Cal announces. The main screen flickers to life. A face appears. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. The being looks almost like an Altarian, but wrong somehow. Its skin is a pale pink-brown color. Hair grows from the top of its head. It wears a simple uniform marked with symbols no one recognizes. "This is Captain Reed of the Earth vessel Horizon," the being says in perfect galactic standard. "We request permission to approach your station. Our navigation systems show we may have crossed into restricted space." The bridge falls silent. Earth? No species called themselves by such a name. And how did this being learn galactic standard? The Void Zone had been sealed for 3 millennia. No signals could pass through its twisted space-time. "Captain Reed," Vex responds carefully, "identify your species and point of origin." Our records show no civilization called Earth. The human, though Vex doesn't yet know that word, smiles. "We're human, Commander. Our home system lies about 40 light years into what you probably call the Void Zone. We've been exploring the local region for the past few decades." 40 light years into the Void Zone. Vex feels his blood turn cold. At that depth, the space-time distortions should have crushed any known material. The energy storms should have cooked any crew alive. Yet this human speaks casually, as if he had just taken a short trip. "Impossible," Officer Kell mutters. "Nothing can survive that deep in the zone." Captain Reed's expression grows puzzled. "Void Zone? You mean this region of space? It's a bit rough on the sensors." "Sure, but nothing our ships can't handle. We've established several colonies deeper in. The energy fields actually help power our cities." The aliens exchange horrified glances. This human speaks of energy storms that can melt starships as if they were gentle breezes. He mentions colonies in regions where the laws of physics break down. "Captain Reed," Vex says slowly, "that region has been forbidden for 3,000 years. Our greatest civilizations have tried to enter it. None returned. The Council declared it a dead zone after losing entire fleets." The human looks genuinely confused. "Dead zone? Commander, that can't be right." The space is certainly energetic, but we've been living there for over 2 centuries. My great-grandfather was born on New Terra, 60 light years from here. 2 centuries. The implications hit Vex like a physical blow. While the Council mourned the Void Zone as an eternal scar, an entire human civilization had been thriving. Within it, they had built colonies, raised families, and developed technology that treated the galaxy's most dangerous region as merely a bit rough. "Stand by, Captain Reed," Vex manages to say. "I need to contact the Council immediately." As the transmission ends, Vex stares at the human ship floating peacefully outside the Void Zone. Everything the Council believed about the limits of life, technology, and survival has just been shattered by a species they never knew existed. Question now isn't whether humans are real. It's what else they're capable of that should be impossible. The emergency. Council chamber buzzes with nervous energy as representatives from 12 major species gather via hologram. The circular hall, built to inspire unity and wisdom, now feels heavy with fear and confusion. At the center, Commander Vex stands beside a 3-dimensional display showing the human ship. Horizon. High Chancellor Moore of the Zilani opens the session with a voice that carries across species barriers. "Commander Vex, explain again what you witnessed. Some Council members find your report difficult to accept." Vex activates the recording of his conversation with Captain Reed. The human's calm voice fills the chamber, speaking of colonies deep in the Void Zone as if discussing weather patterns. Several representatives shift uncomfortably in their seats. "The energy readings are confirmed," Vex reports. "Their ship has been inside the zone for at least 3 standard months. Our best estimates suggest they originated from a point 67, light years beyond the zone's edge." Ambassador Tall of the mighty Krigan Empire laughs harshly. "Impossible. My people's warships can barely survive 10 minutes in the outer edges of the zone. This ... human ... claims his ancestors lived there for centuries?" "The evidence is clear, Ambassador," Vex replies. "Their ship shows no signs of the molecular breakdown we'd expect from zone exposure. The hull material appears to be some form of enhanced steel, primitive by our standards, yet somehow resistant to space-time distortion." Dr. Lysa, the Healer Council's representative, studies bioreadings from the human transmission. "This Captain Reed shows no signs of zone exposure either. The radiation levels should have altered his genetic structure beyond recognition. Yet his physiology appears completely stable." The debate continues for hours. Some Council members insist the human ship must be a hoax, perhaps a test by one of the major powers. Others argue that the readings are too consistent to fake. Few suggest the humans might be using technology beyond Council understanding. "What troubles me most," says Elder Nix of the Ancient Vorthic, "is their casual attitude. When our explorers first encountered the zone's edge 3,000 years ago, they reported overwhelming dread. The space itself seemed hostile to life. This human speaks of it like a minor inconvenience." Ambassador Cree of the Scientific Altarian Federation pulls up historical data. "Our records from the Great War describe the zone as a weapon itself. The final battle tore holes in reality. Energy storms that could vaporize moons. Space where time moves backward. Yet somehow, these humans not only survive, they thrive. Perhaps," Chancellor Moore suggests carefully, "we should ask ourselves not how they survive, but why we cannot." The chamber falls silent. It's a disturbing thought. For 3 millennia, the galaxy's greatest civilizations have accepted the Void Zone as an absolute barrier. They've built their expansion plans around it, treating it as a permanent scar on space itself. "Are you suggesting," Ambassador Tall asks slowly, "that the fault lies with us? That our technology is ... insufficient?" "I'm suggesting," Moore replies, "that we may have been wrong about the nature of the zone itself. General Heck of the Varlin military speaks up. My analysts have reviewed the human ship's design. It's remarkably simple. No energy shields, no reality stabilizers, no quantum armor. By our understanding, it should have been destroyed instantly upon entering the zone. Unless, Dr. Lysa adds thoughtfully, their basic technology is simply more compatible with the zone's conditions than ours. The implications ripple through the chamber. Every species represented has spent centuries developing complex technologies to deal with space travel's dangers. Multi-layered shields, reality, anchors, quantum computers that can calculate safe passages through normal space. The humans appear to use none of these advanced systems. Commander Vex, Chancellor Moore asks, has the human captain made any requests? Only for permission to approach our station. He seems curious about our technology and culture. He's asked several questions about Council history and mentioned something about comparing notes on stellar cartography. Elder Nix's voice carries deep concern. Comparing notes? Does he think we're equals? From his perspective, Vex explains, we might be neighbors he's just meeting for the first time. He's shown no signs of aggression or superiority. If anything, he seems genuinely interested and peaceful. Contact. The council members exchange glances. They've dealt with emerging civilizations before, species that had just developed faster than light travel and stumbled into council space. Such encounters usually involved careful management and gradual introduction to galactic society. But the humans aren't an emerging civilization. They've been living independently in space the Council couldn't even enter. They've developed colonies, raised generations, and built ships that casually traverse the galaxy's most dangerous region. The question, Chancellor Moore says finally, is what we do next. Do we treat them as a potential threat? As a curiosity? As equals? Or, General Heck adds grimly, as our superiors? The Council reaches a decision after 6 hours of debate. A formal first contact team will meet with the humans using established protocols, despite the unusual circumstances. Ambassador Quinn of the diplomatic Cellin is chosen to lead the mission, supported by scientists and cultural experts from multiple species. Commander Vex watches from the monitoring station as the Council ship Harmony approaches the human vessel. The size difference is striking. Harmony stretches nearly 2 kilometers in length, its hull bristling with sensors, shield generators, and defensive systems. The human ship Horizon looks tiny beside it, perhaps 300 meters from nose to tail. Captain Reed, Ambassador Quinn's voice carries across the communication channel. This is the Galactic Council vessel Harmony. We're honored to make formal contact with your species. The human captain's image appears on the main screen. He's joined by several other humans, his crew apparently. They wear simple uniforms and display none of the formal ceremonial dress typical of first contact situations. Ambassador Quinn, the honor is ours. Captain Reed responds warmly. My crew is excited to meet representatives of the galactic community. We've detected signals suggesting a large civilization exists in this region, but we weren't sure how. To make contact properly, Dr. Kala, the expedition's xenobiologist, studies the humans with fascination. Captain Reed, if you don't mind our asking, could you describe your species' physical requirements? Our databases contain no information about human physiology. Of course, Reed replies easily. We're carbon-based, oxygen-breathing bipeds. We evolved on a planet with standard gravity, what you probably call 1G. Our home world has a 24-hour rotation cycle and orbits a yellow star. The specifications sound remarkably similar to several council species, yet the humans clearly evolved independently. Dr. Kala makes notes while the conversation continues. Captain Reed, Ambassador Quinn asks, our records indicate your region of space has been uninhabitable for 3,000 years. How long has your species been spacefaring? Reed confers with his crew before answering. We've had interstellar capability for about 250 years. Our first colony ship launched from Earth in 2387, according to our calendar. We've been expanding steadily since then. The timeline creates more confusion. The humans began their expansion shortly after the Great War ended, yet they show no knowledge of that conflict. They've been living in the void zone's heart, while the rest of the galaxy mourned it as dead space. Captain, says Dr. Vex, the Council's space-time specialist, you mentioned the energy fields in your region help power your cities. Could you elaborate on this technology? Reed's expression brightens. Oh, that's one of our more interesting discoveries. The space around our colonies has what we call energy currents, streams of power that flow through the local area. We learn to tap into them for our electrical grids. It's actually quite efficient once you understand the patterns. The council team exchanges worried glances. The humans are casually harvesting energy from the same space-time distortions that destroy council ships. They've turned the galaxy's most dangerous phenomenon into a power source. Captain Reed, Ambassador Quinn continues carefully. We'd like to learn more about your technology and culture. Would you be interested in a formal cultural exchange? We could share information about council civilizations in return. That sounds wonderful, Reed replies enthusiastically. My science team has dozens of questions about your ships and technology. We'd love to compare our discoveries with yours. The word compare strikes the council team oddly. Most first contact species are eager to learn from the advanced council civilizations. They rarely suggest they have equivalent knowledge to share. What specific areas would interest your scientists? Dr. Kala asks. Reed counts on his fingers. Faster-than-light propulsion methods, energy shield technology, artificial gravity systems, quantum computing applications, biological life support in hostile environments, and stellar cartography techniques. We've developed our own approaches to these challenges, but we're curious about alternative solutions. The list covers nearly every major field of council technology. The humans haven't just survived in impossible conditions. They've independently developed advanced science and engineering. Captain Reed, Commander Vex interrupts from the monitoring station. When you say alternative solutions, do you mean our technology differs significantly from yours? Well, yes, Reed responds, looking slightly puzzled. For example, we noticed your ship uses what appears to be electromagnetic shielding against cosmic radiation. Our ships use charged particle deflectors instead. Both approaches work, but the engineering principles are quite different. The human describes Council's shield technology as if it were merely one option among many. He shows no awe at their massive ship or advanced systems. To him, the Galactic Council represents a different, but not necessarily superior approach to space travel. Ambassador, Quinn realizes they're not dealing with a primitive species seeking guidance. They're meeting equals who happen to develop. In isolation, equals who mastered challenges the Council never could. The cultural exchange begins aboard the Harmony, with Captain Reed and two of his officers accepting the Council's invitation. As they dock with the massive Council vessel, the humans show polite interest, but no overwhelming amazement. They examine the airlock systems with professional curiosity, making quiet observations about the engineering approaches. Dr. Emil, Captain, Reed's chief engineer, runs his hand on the Harmony's corridor walls. Interesting use of composite materials, he comments to his companion, Dr. Aina, the ship's physicist. The molecular structure looks designed for maximum strength with minimal weight. Ambassador Quinn overhears the casual technical analysis. The humans aren't tourists admiring advanced alien technology. They're professionals evaluating different solutions to familiar problems. In the ship's main conference room, the exchange begins formally. The Council team presents holographic Displays of their various civilizations. Vast cities floating in gas giants, mining operations in asteroid belts, massive orbital habitats supporting billions of citizens. The humans watch with genuine interest, asking detailed questions about population management, resource distribution, and environmental controls. Their questions reveal deep understanding of the challenges involved in large-scale space colonization. Your urban planning is impressive. Dr. Aina observes. We've faced similar issues with our colony worlds. How do you handle atmospheric recycling in cities that size? Dr. Kala describes the Council's advanced atmospheric processors, expecting the usual amazement from a less developed species. Instead, Dr. Aina nods thoughtfully. We use a different approach, she explains. Our systems are based on biological filtration, modified plant species that process waste gases more efficiently than mechanical systems. It requires less energy and creates a more natural environment. The Council scientists lean forward with interest. Biological atmospheric processing isn't unknown to them, but they've never heard of anyone making it work on an industrial scale. Could you elaborate on these modifications? Dr. Vex asks eagerly. Dr. Aina projects her own hologram, showing detailed schematics of human colony designs. The cities look different from Council settlements, more organic, with green spaces integrated throughout the infrastructure. Plants and trees aren't decorative additions, but functional components of the life support systems. We learned early that working with biological processes instead of against them created more stable long-term environments. Dr. Aina explains. Our colonies are essentially controlled ecosystems that support both human life and industrial production. The Council team studies the human designs with growing fascination. Their approach to colonization emphasizes sustainability and integration with natural processes, concepts the Council civilizations understand, but rarely implement so thoroughly. Captain Reed then shares star charts of human space. The map shows dozens of colony worlds spread throughout the region the Council calls the Void Zone. Trade routes connect the settlements, and exploration missions probe even deeper into the dangerous space. Your expansion pattern is remarkable, Ambassador Quinn admits. You've established a stable civilization in conditions we thought were uninhabitable. Uninhabitable? Dr. Emil looks confused. The energy levels are higher than Earth normal space, certainly, but nothing our shielding can't handle. We actually prefer the higher energy regions for our industrial colonies. The ambient power makes manufacturing much more efficient. Commander Vex pulls up readings from the Void Zone's deepest regions. Captain Reid, these energy levels would overload our most advanced power systems. How do your ships survive exposure? Reid and his officers exchange glances. Dr. Aina answers carefully. We might be approaching the problem differently. Instead of trying to block or resist the energy fields, we channel and redirect them. Our whole materials are designed to conduct, rather than resist. The concept is elegantly simple, yet revolutionary. For 3,000 years, Council species have built stronger shields and more resistant materials to survive hostile space conditions. The humans learned to work with those conditions instead of fighting them. It's like the difference between building a dam and diverting a river, Dr. Emil adds. Both approaches control water flow, but one requires much more energy and material. The exchange continues for hours, covering faster-than-light travel, communications technology, and resource extraction. In every field, the humans have developed alternative approaches that often prove more efficient than Council methods. Most remarkably, the humans seem eager to learn about Council techniques, not because their own are inferior, but because their own. Genuinely curious about different solutions. They treat the Council civilizations as peers with interesting alternative approaches to shared challenges. As the formal presentations end, Ambassador Quinn realizes the significance of what's happening. This isn't first contact with a primitive species seeking guidance. It's first contact with an equal civilization that developed independently and possibly more successfully than the established galactic powers. The humans have proven that. The galaxy's greatest challenge isn't actually insurmountable. They've shown that the limitations the Council accepted for millennia were simply failures of imagination and technique. The question now is what this means for the future of both civilizations. 3 days after the formal exchange, Ambassador Quinn sits in her private quarters reviewing the reports her team has compiled. The implications grow more staggering with each analysis. The humans haven't just survived in the Void Zone. They've thrived there in ways that challenge everything the Council thought it knew about the limits of civilization. Dr. Kala enters with the final biological assessment. Ambassador, we need to discuss something important about human physiology. Quinn gestures for her to continue. The xenobiologist's expression carries a mixture of excitement and concern. The humans show no signs of genetic adaptation to high-energy environments, Dr. Kala explains. Their DNA is completely baseline for their species. They're not evolved for void zone conditions. They're just naturally compatible with them. The implications hit Quinn immediately. The Council species have always assumed that the void zone's energy fields were inherently hostile to life. They've spent centuries developing complex technologies to survive brief exposures. But the humans suggest the problem wasn't the environment. It was the Council's approach to it. There's more, Dr. Kala continues. Their medical records show they actually experience health benefits from moderate exposure to the energy fields. Improved cellular repair, enhanced immune response, longer lifespans. What we've been calling dangerous radiation is actually beneficial to them. Ambassador Quinn stares out the viewport at the human ship horizon. Its simple, elegant design suddenly makes perfect sense. They didn't need massive shielding or complex protection systems because they were never in danger. Commander Vex's voice crackles over the intercom. Ambassador, you need to see the latest communication from Captain Reed. He's made a proposal. In the main conference room, the human captain appears on the primary display. His expression is serious but hopeful. Ambassador Quinn, my crew and I have been discussing our exchange with great enthusiasm. We believe our civilizations could benefit tremendously from cooperation. Quinn nods. What did you have in mind, Captain? We'd like to invite a Council expedition to visit our space, Reed explains. Not just the outer colonies, but our core. Worlds deeper in the zone. We think seeing our cities and technologies in operation might be valuable for both our peoples. The offer is unprecedented. No Council ship has ever penetrated more than a few light years into the Void Zone. Reed is proposing they travel to the heart of the region, to worlds 60 or 70 light years beyond the established boundary. Captain, Commander Vex interjects. Our ships aren't designed for extended exposure to those energy levels. We might not survive the journey. Reed's expression grows thoughtful. We've been considering that problem. Our engineers believe we could modify one of our larger vessels to carry Council representatives safely. We'd essentially build a Council-compatible environment within a human ship. Dr. Emil appears beside his captain. We're talking about a complete life support bubble, Council atmospheric mix, electromagnetic shielding, quantum stabilization field, the works. You'd travel in perfect safety while observing how we live and work in the zone. The proposal reveals how thoroughly the humans understand Council technology. They're offering to build hybrid systems that combine human engineering with Council. Environmental requirements. How long would such a modification take? Ambassador Quinn asks. About 6 standard months, Dr. Emil responds. We'd need detailed specifications for your environmental and technological needs, but it's certainly feasible. Quinn realizes this conversation has moved far beyond first contact protocols. The humans are proposing a full scientific and cultural exchange program. They want to share their space, their technology, and their discoveries with species they've known for less than a week. Captain Reed, she asks carefully, why are you so willing to open your civilization to us? Most species are more cautious. During first contact, Reed's smile is genuine and warm. Ambassador, we've been alone in our region for over 2 centuries. We've always hoped we'd eventually meet other intelligent species. Finding an entire galactic civilization is beyond our best dreams. He pauses, his expression growing more serious. But there's another reason. We've detected troubling signs. In the deep void zone, energy patterns that suggest something dangerous is developing in the furthest regions. We might need allies to face whatever's coming. The revelation changes everything. The humans aren't just offering friendship and cooperation. They're warning of a potential threat emerging from the galaxy's most inaccessible region. What kind of danger? General Heck demands from his position on the council ship. We're not sure yet, Reed admits. But the energy readings suggest something is stirring in the zone's heart, something that's been dormant since before arrival. If we're right, it could affect the entire galaxy. Ambassador Quinn feels the weight of decision settling on her shoulders. The Council faces a choice that will shape the future: embrace humanity as equals and allies, or retreat into the safety of known space while a potential crisis develops beyond their ability to address. The humans have proven that the impossible is merely difficult. Now they're asking the Council to join them in facing whatever lies ahead in the galaxy's forbiddance depths.